You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. And with me today is Jeannie Watson with Riverbend Retirement Community?
Yes, Riverbend.
Riverbend, okay. And JW Sutphin?
Yes.
Also of Riverbend.
I do live in Riverbend. I'm the retirement director for the Chamber of Commerce here in Carlsbad.
Right. So we've had both of you guys on. You're an age-friendly council member. You're Jeannie, you're head of the age-friendly committee for the Chamber of Commerce as well, correct?
Correct.
Right. So you guys wear multiple hats, but today's hat has nothing really to do with the chamber, except for the fact that the chamber does a great job promoting the city and helping promote things of that nature. You guys are here about Riverbend Retirement Community, which I've learned about a little bit since I've lived here. Not quite qualified to live there yet, but it does sound like a bit of a dream living. So, Jeannie, why don't you kind of kick it off for us a little bit about just like kind of an overall of what Riverbend Retirement Community is?
Sure, I'd be happy to, and thanks for having us again, Johnny. We love visiting with you and with all of Carlsbad because we love living here, and I love living at Riverbend. So, as you said, I'm the sales and marketing director. I've been here 9 years. Riverbend is the quintessential place to live if you're 55 or over and you don't want to have to worry about any kind of maintenance. You don't want to have to call someone to fix the toilet. You don't have to mow the lawn. You really want to enjoy life in your later years, and later is 55 and over. That's still pretty young.
Right.
That's young. But we have a wonderful place for people to hang out and be associated and affiliated with other retirement people their age. We just have a wonderful, beautiful Christian retirement community. And so it's great to be able to live there. It's quiet. It's safe. There's so many activities and fun things to do. So Riverbend is a place that we really are proud of and we want to promote to all of Carlsbad.
It's very beautiful. I've driven there. I've been to the Leo Suite Community Center?
Yes.
I've been to the community center. It's very well groomed, if you will, very well maintained, which I really enjoy. I think it's really beautiful. It's a wonderful place. You said you moved there 9 years ago?
I did. I grew up here. Most people know me. I graduated from high school here, got married, had children. I moved off to Las Vegas, and I came back after 25 years. Most people do that. They come back. JW can talk about that in a minute too, but he grew up here as well as a child, and I came back. My parents were aging, and I have to share this with you. This is a really kind of a fun point. I was in Las Vegas, and my dad and I are very close, and my dad was aging, and my dad is one of those dads that could do everything. It didn't matter what it was. My dad knew how to do it. Well, my dad was up on top of a roof in their home. It wasn't a retirement community. He went up there to fix the air conditioning. He was 80 years old, Johnny. He had no business being on the roof. My mother made him come down, and the next day she called and said, "We are moving into Riverbend. He does not need to take care of anything anymore. He's going to get hurt." And it was a perfect move for them. So that's a cute story.
It is a cute story, and I'm glad because that's when you talked about how he was climbing on the roof to fix the air conditioner at 80 years old. I wasn't sure it was going to end with let's just go move across town. I thought it was good. Ladders, tall roofs, 80 years old, air conditioning, heat. It didn't. It sounded like that could have ended badly. So great. So wonderful story.
Yeah, he is one of those that just would not take no. He felt the responsibility, and a lot of people do. And when you move into Riverbend, you can just say, someone needs to check that air conditioning. Let's pick up the phone and call.
It's a choice too, right? It's a choice. So like sometimes, my grandfather passed many years ago, but they had to. It felt like they were taking things away from him the older that he got, as opposed to making it feel like it was kind of his choice.
Correct.
At some point he wasn't allowed to drive anymore, and I couldn't imagine the lack of independence that I would feel when I first lose the ability to drive. I'm
with you. I understand that too.
And so can't relate. So that's 9 years. So you moved away. That's so traditional. I assume that when you did move away, when you moved to Las Vegas the first time, that you couldn't wait to get out of here, would be my guess. Like a young person fleeing the small town that they grew up in, right? That's the typical movie scene spite for the old small town, and then returning home, of course.
Absolutely.
Right.
I went through all of those emotions, and it was, it wasn't something I was really initially looking forward to doing, was to coming back home, but I wanted to be with my parents, and they were aging, and so it threw me into this retirement community, and I didn't have a clue how wonderful it was going to be until I got here. And I moved into Riverbend. So I not only sell Riverbend and sell the other communities that we have at Lakeview, I live there as a resident. So I get to know all of these wonderful people. It's like having, 100 different parents, sets of parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles. And you get really attached, and they're beautiful, wonderful people.
Easy to sell something when you live it and you enjoy it, right? It's not really selling when you're just like, look at how I'm living and look how great this is.
Not at all.
Right.
It's a blessing.
So JW, you came back. How long ago did you move into Riverbend?
8 years ago.
Okay.
Same story. I grew up here till I was 14, and then moved to Albuquerque, graduated from high school in Albuquerque, spent 5 years in the service and 40 years as an insurance agent. And maybe a little bit like Jeannie, my softball coach was 58 years old, single-story house, is up on the roof, gets off the roof, changes the air conditioner, and falls off. Can't play ball for about 6 months because he breaks his arm. He falls and breaks his arm. So you don't have to be 80 years old. Again, that can happen really at any stage. So things are changing in the insurance industry. I lost both my parents, brother and sister, at a young age, and it was time to think about retiring. Life's too short. So at 59, they kind of put a bug in my ear about retiring, and my uncle, who brought my parents out here in the 50s from the coal mines of West Virginia to the potash mines. And he still lived here, lives across the street from the beach. And when I started talking about retirement, he's going, you really should consider Carlsbad. And I got tired of Albuquerque's traffic. I got tired of the people. I got tired. And it doesn't snow that much, but it got a little bit colder. And I love warm weather. So, of course, growing up here, I knew it was a little bit warm. So he's going, you should think about Carlsbad. Seriously, it's a great retirement community. Golf is extremely cheap in Carlsbad. And he thought, because I wanted to retire and play a little bit of golf, this would be the perfect place. So I did a little bit of research. We came down and looked around and actually stumbled across Riverbend as we're driving around by the golf course. And for some reason, I thought it was a country club area.
I did too when I first saw it. It didn't feel like a retirement community.
No, again, you drive through there. Each one of the homes is meticulously kept. The yards are kept gorgeous. You think it's a community that it's going to cost you a lot of money to stay into and stuff. So we couldn't find it on the real estate listings, and Jeannie's name was on a few of the homes that were up for sale. So we called it, and Jeannie says, we need to meet. And my realtor is going, is there an HOV? And she says, yes, absolutely, but let me explain it to you. The reason there's an HOV, and explain the benefits. And we met the next day at Leo Suite, and it really fit my trying to get out of Albuquerque perfectly and stuff. And being in the insurance business, the HO fee basically pays for the taxes of the insurance.
Right.
I knew as an insurance agent that all homeowners are expensive. So that almost covers the cost of the insurance just for the HO fee. And then when you throw in the taxes, if you move from another property into there, you're paying $3,000 or $4,000 a year in taxes.
Right, easy.
Your insurance is going to be the same amount. So the HO fee really wasn't a factor, especially when you throw in and you realize that you'll never have to go to Lowe's again. You never have to go. You're not going to have to go and buy fertilizer for the grass.
So we've all. I get a sidetrack for a second, JW. I'm sorry. We've all been to Lowe's here, have we not? Have we all walked into this Lowe's here? Don't look at my Twitter account either when it comes to Lowe's and this Lowe's and trying to inform corporate of some of the experiences that I've had. And unfortunately, you can't accept it. You can't help it, right? I like to go a place a little more local, a little more quaint than a Lowe's or a Home Depot if I can help it. That I'm sold. I'll buy one as soon as I can if I don't have to go to Lowe's ever again.
Again, you don't have to replace a light bulb.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about spraying for the ants, for spiders. They take care of all of that and stuff. If the garage door opener goes out, you don't have to go over there and buy pruning shears. You don't have to go over there and buy rakes.
So you guys cover everything?
Just about everything. We cover all the appliances inside the home except a washer dryer. You're going to bring your own.
Okay.
But let's just say
the refrigerator, the stove, the furnace, the air conditioner.
Microwaves.
Microwaves even.
What if the AC goes out? Have you replaced an AC unit in the last few years?
I've replaced a furnace on one house, on my first house in Albuquerque, which was a horrible experience at 29 because of how expensive it was.
And so what did that cost, Johnny? Just give us a...
Well, I think it was like $8,000. I mean, exactly. and this was in 2009.
So that is even covered. If your AC goes out, your furnace goes out, you're going to call my office.
It was $7,000 for our new air conditioner.
Exactly.
At our house in Albuquerque before we moved down when we needed a new one. And we did a swamp cooler type situation. We didn't even do a full air conditioner because swamp coolers still somewhat work up there. It can't work down here, way too hot. But the idea is that and so that was $7,000 for a new air conditioner.
So what happens if you're 70 or 75 years old, let's just say, and the AC goes out and it's 110 outside?
Well, and you got that fixed income too.
You do.
Right.
And what happens if you can't even get an AC repairman out for days?
No, that's happened twice recently. I met two people, and I don't need to name them. They're the victims of their air conditioner failing, right? And they're calling companies, and their companies are doing the best they can. They're getting to them as quickly as possible. But they're like one couple that I met just last weekend, their air conditioner went out. It says 5 weeks before somebody can come and get them a new unit is what they said. And so they have 4-bedroom house, and they have a window unit in every bedroom of their house now just to survive for a little bit. Could you even imagine? No. And so you guys have maintenance full-time on staff then, I suppose?
Full-time.
Okay.
Really it's 24/7 because if there's an emergency and our offices are closed and maintenance is closed, of course.
Yeah, sure.
But we have someone on call 24/7.
Well, then, I mean,
kind of an emergency.
if you have a little water line that busts in your house, which happens everywhere over time, if you have a water line somewhere, it's going to bust one day. We'll knock on wood real quick, right? But the idea is that, and you got to shut that off, right? And as somebody that can be a very difficult thing to do depending on the location. And who else are you going to get to come out in the middle of the night?
We're going to come out in the middle of the night. That's what's going to happen. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I had an incident with one of the sprinkler heads running all night long.
Right.
I didn't realize it. And you make a phone call and they come out and shut it out. You don't have to wait for 2 or 3 days. So again, you don't have to worry about any of the plumbing issues, any of the toilet issues. Those go out all the time. So again, you make a phone call, they put in a work order, and someone responds within a couple hours.
Right. So, and I don't want to get in the weeds here, and where there is a point to why we're talking about Riverbend retirement community so heavily right now, and a great point of it. But let's say I move into the house and I want a new ceiling fan, right? I buy the ceiling fan, I install the ceiling fan, and then you guys do the maintenance of it. I mean, this is getting in the weeds. This is unnecessary.
You're not even gonna. Well, first of all,
I'm curious.
Well, first of all, I'm going to have a great new ceiling fan in there for you to begin with.
Okay,
so
wonderful.
You're not going to need to go buy a new ceiling fan because I will have just put everything in there for you. Okay. If you didn't like it, then you can always call and say, hey, if I buy a new one, we'll install it. You don't install it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, maybe I've seen the houses. I've seen some of your floor plans. You guys recently, the houses. You're having an open house on August 20th, right?
Correct.
So this is airing on Tuesday, August 15th, and on Thursday, August 17th. We're gonna air this 2 days in a row to give everybody ample time to listen to it. But August 20th, from what time to what time?
From 1 to 3.
From 1 to 3. Riverbend. I think anybody here that knows Riverbend, but this is all Eddy County. It goes into Lee County, it goes into Chavez County a little bit. The radio station does. So what's the address of Riverbend? Let's get people there.
Well, the community center is 1302 Mission Avenue.
Okay.
So that's the Leo Suite Community Center. It's right across the street from our whole community.
Oh, and that's the best place to go because you park right there and you can walk around or drive around in the neighborhood.
We're going to have 5 homes open for viewing. And so we'll have balloons out and signs, and so we'll have some refreshments. Just come and you'll be able to see those 5 homes. We'll have some ads coming out in the newspaper that will list those homes. You won't even need to see that. You can just drive up and down the streets and see the signs.
Yeah.
And just pull in when there's a sign. They'll have balloons, and we'll have some refreshments, and just take a walk through and see the community.
All right. So you give us a little bit. We know that it's a retirement community. It's a nonprofit retirement community. The benefits of that are no property taxes And what was the other one? The no
homeowners insurance.
No insurance too. You know that insurance and property taxes combined is like so much of our mortgage at the place that we live now.
Absolutely.
It's like a significant portion. And then, I'm sorry, I'm pet peeve here. I don't like how mortgage holders change the escrow every year on you. Right, you know what I mean? By changing the escrow, you have too much escrow, here's a check. Or your escrow account's not high enough, write us a check to keep your payment the same amount. I don't like how it fluctuates either. And you guys don't have that either.
Not at all.
All right, sorry, JW, what were you talking about?
No, one of the key benefits, and the reason I moved in there, besides the maintenance issue, is we're real close to the river.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to spend 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week cutting the grass. I don't have to worry about raking the leaves. I don't have to worry about picking up the pecans. That's all done. I don't have to worry about anything inside. That gives me more time. So every morning I get up and I have to make a decision. I'm within 100 yards of the river, whether or not I'm going to kayak, bike, hike, fish, golf.
Yeah, right.
So, and some days I want to do 3 or 4 of those things.
Right.
And so, if I want to play the par 3, if I have time to play the regular course, we have a driving range. We have a brand new miniature golf course. So One of the things I did as a retirement director, the first day I got my job, somebody on Facebook is going, there's nothing to do in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, from the train bridge to Green Street, I walk around that 3.2 miles about every day. There's 66 free things to do within a mile and a half.
Right, all along the river.
All along the river.
Right.
And all right there at Riverbend.
Yes.
Right. You have a golf cart, JW?
Yes.
Do you drive the golf cart to the golf course?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't put the bag in the car and then go to get a golf cart. Yeah,
no.
You drive it straight from the house.
Yeah. My son came in and played golf with us 3 or 4 weeks ago, and their new slogan for Carlsbad is, it's the Disney World for adults. My son pulls up, we get in the golf cart, we go to the golf course, we play the par 3, we go to the driving range. The next day we have a tournament, so he has access to the golf cart all day long.
Right.
They feed him. He won a couple of, in the tournament, he won a driver.
Wow.
We come back along the golf course. They have never kayaked before, so it took us exactly 5 minutes to get 4 kayaks to the river, and they had so much fun. The sunsets on the river are, there's nowhere else in the country that has a sunset like we do.
I agree. And there's nowhere else in the country that has a sunset like New Mexico in general, almost anywhere. It's the landscape is so different, and the particles that are in the air during the sunset make it much more beautiful than even like a Key West sunset, even though the ocean's pretty as well. So I want to ask, so what type of, you guys have river access, right? Is that a private river access for Riverbend, or are you guys near a public access?
We're right near a public access.
Okay, great.
Yes. So there's docks right in front of Riverbend, right on this side of the golf course and stuff. So we have backdoor access to the golf course, to the par 3. So you are probably on the public highway, public street for about 50 yards
0.2 seconds
before you get to the golf course.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, JW, so you bought your house at the Riverbend Retirement Community from Jeannie, right? She was the one that kind of walked you through the process, which is a very similar process to anybody that goes to the open house and decides to make Riverbend their home, which obviously you two would co-sign in a minute, So how was the experience with Jeannie? I mean, I'm asking you because I'm sure you're going to say positive things, but I still want you to.
Well, what most people don't realize, these are living leases, and that's something that Jeannie can get into and stuff.
Oh.
So in my particular situation, I had gone through a divorce. I had retired with no income. So I had actually more money than I've ever had in my life, but I couldn't finance.
Right,
through a
right.
bank.
Yeah, the banks want you to have that job that pays you every 2 weeks and has the insurance. They really punish individual business owners when it comes to trying to buy a house.
So the living lease fitted my situation perfectly. And
right.
stuff. So again, what most people don't realize is, you're buying that. Jeannie can tell you a little bit about the lease and what happens if you decide to move or if something happens to you.
Yeah, Jeannie, just briefly get into, I've bought 3 houses in my life so far at my age. I'm on my 3rd one now. I understand how that process works, right? Most people, if you've owned a home, you want it as anybody that's moving into your community, chances are has owned a home before in their life. You don't live like JW and you guys get to live when you didn't work hard when you were younger and prepare, right? You know what I mean? But tell me a little bit about the difference between a standard mortgage, which we kind of know what it is, versus the lease mortgage when I'm purchasing this house. However, that's terminology. I'm not familiar with that.
Sure. So when you buy a normal house, you have a title to the property, a deed. You have a warranty deed, and it shows that you own that title. At a retirement community, Riverbend is one of many, many, many across the country. Mm-hmm. You don't own that title, so you never have fee simple title to that property. So in Riverbend and all of our communities, we have what's called a life lease. It gives you the right to live there till the day you die, or if you want to terminate, which you can terminate at any point in time, maybe down the road, because we are a continuing care retirement community owned and operated by Lakeview Christian Home, you may decide at some point that you need more care. And so we have that different ladder and step system within our community to go maybe into assisted living if you just need a little bit more care. Or sometimes people stay in their home until the last moment and they have to go right into the nursing home.
Right.
Many people now are staying in their home forever and they bring in private help, and so they never have to do any of those. But so you have a life lease, and that life lease lets you live there till the day you die or cancel. If you decide to cancel, let's say 10 years from now, you want to move back east where the kids are or something, you're going to terminate your contract. And once we sell the home, just like when you would sell your home on your old drive or wherever it is, once it closes, you're going to get all of the money that you paid for the home back. We hold a little small amount of $2,500, but every community, I have to tell you this is a great story. Whenever the CEO and the board began to think about providing independent living for Lakeview, they went all around the country and they talked to everyone they could find. And they looked at their plans and their business model. And all of them kept a certain percentage that began to erode in your initial amount of equity that you had. So let's say you bought a home for $200,000.
Right.
Almost every one of them, after 5 years, dropped down that equity 50%, 10% a year. Some were 5, most were 10. And we didn't like that business model. And we, came back to the drawing board, and they all prayed about it and thought, we're a Christian community and we want to do what's best for our seniors. And so their business model was they would withhold $2,500. They call it an admin fee. It's a very minor and nominal fee. And so if you paid $200,000 and we sell your home, you're going to get $200,000 back minus that $2,500. We never erode or eat into that equity.
Well, that almost sounds too good to be true on the surface. So let me see if I can understand that for a second. We won't spend too much time on it, but it sounds too good to be true, so it's worth it. So the idea is that, so let's say that I purchase a house. 10 years later, I decide that I'm going to go move to, across the country to be with my oldest daughter or whatever, right? Makes perfectly normal thing. But I didn't pay $200,000 for the house yet because I financed it. So you'll pay me back the entire amount of equity that I've already paid into it, right? So let's say that I did 20% down, and then when I paid 10 years in, I only owed, if I had a $200,000 house, let's claim I only owed $125,000 left after 10 years, and it'd probably be much less than that actually, right? But, and I didn't pay property taxes, by the way, and I didn't pay homeowners insurance as well, thinking about that. I get all that back.
You get all the money back that you paid, all the equity that you've accumulated, all that back comes back to you. If you have a balance on your loan, obviously we're going to pay that off.
Sure, right.
You get all the difference.
Yeah, you get the difference. I mean, because if typically if you're going to finance a home, you're going to finance it for 30 years.
So
right?
This is one way to look at it, and this is kind of fascinating. In essence, you lived there for, let's say it's 10 years, you lived there for $2,500 because you're getting all the rest of the money back.
Yeah, that's criminal. So technically, the company owns the house, then, right?
Correct.
Legally,
yes.
But I mean, maybe we should all do it that way. Did you guys want to buy my house?
And the good thing is a couple of things. We're responsible for it because we own it, so we want to make sure
you have a stake in it.
We do. We want to make sure when there's a water leak, you're going to call me and make sure that we don't have any damage to the house. The minute there's something that stucco damage, whatever it is, you're going to call. So we're going to take care of it. But the other beautiful thing about it, at the end of the day, there is no probate. You avoid probate. You avoid inheritance tax. You want to leave that to your children and you die there? Guess what? It is called a refund of the money you paid for the life lease. It's a refund, right?
Well, so
no inheritance tax.
Yeah, so when the families sitting around forever waiting for probate to get done. That thing's just sailing right through, because
Absolutely.
there are some times when, when somebody passes away, that they can be a hardship on other family members because they need something or are dependent on one person or other. There's situations where it's never a positive thing, really, right? I mean, nice long life is always a good feeling, but then you got family to depend on you, and you're so critical. I don't understand. I mean, I got to tell you, I've never heard of this before, Jeannie, and I'm fascinated. I like to think I'm somebody that knows a little bit about everything and not a lot about anything, right?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story, because I was living in Las Vegas, and go back to the incident where my mother called and said, "Oh my gosh, your daddy's been on the roof. We're going to go to Riverbend." And I said, "Well, what's Riverbend?" I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Oh, well, we're going to buy a house, but we're not going to own it." And I said, "Whoa, I have a strong legal background.
Yeah.
And I've been a real estate developer for many years, and that just did not click well with me." And I said, "Whoa, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And she began to tell me, and I said, "Send me the contract. I need to see that."
Yeah.
And I dug deep into it, and I came up with the same conclusion. You got to be kidding me. Sounds too good to be true, really. How does this work? And I was just a firm believer ever since. And it's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is the way every retirement community in the country should operate.
JW, you going to be volunteering on August 20th? Are you going to be helping with the open house, or are you going to go golfing?
August 20th, that's a good question. No, I'll be in the neighborhood.
Okay.
One of the other things that we haven't touched on yet is Leo Sweet Community Center.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I have access to a swimming pool, indoor swimming pool. I have access to a hot tub. We have a exercise room, and maybe 3 or 4 people use it. So it's like I have my own personal gym. Again, it's never crowded. We have plenty of equipment in the exercise room. But again, it's a little warm outside.
Right.
You do have access to the swimming pool 24/7. You are actually given a key. I can go over there at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, really? It's not, the pool doesn't close at 10 at Riverbend?
Never closes.
Right.
24/7.
I like it.
Yeah. We have a monthly breakfast, a monthly lunch, and a monthly dinner where we can all participate, get together and stuff. We have a cookout or two just to make sure you get to know your neighbors. And that's the other thing about this particular neighborhood is, again, I came in from Albuquerque knowing my uncle, and that was it. Within 30 or 45 days, I knew all of my neighbors.
Right.
The last house in Albuquerque I had was on a cul-de-sac, and it had turned over. I didn't know who else lived in the cul-de-sac.
Right.
We kept to ourselves. It's just amazing the difference here. You're going to be walking in the neighborhood. You're going to have instantly 200 households, and it took me maybe 8 to 12 months before I knew everyone in the neighborhood.
Right. That's impressive. I've lived in my house for 2 years, and I still don't know. I've waved at our neighbors, but you're right. We're not having that tight-knit community that I think that people envision, like in a 1950s America community, suburbs, wonder-year style, right?
You know, I have to take this opportunity to tell a great story about JW, and you'll chuckle, I know. I was a little worried about it when he moved in. And the reason is he bought one of our patio homes. And the reason I was a little concerned is because JW is a lot younger than most of our people, or a little bit older. And so he was sort of sandwiched in between some quite elderly women that were living by themselves and 2 right across the street. Mm-hmm. And so there was no one really anywhere near his age, and they were all older women, like a grandmother, and they were all wonderful, lovely women. But I was a little bit worried about that. Well, I didn't need to be worried at all, because within days and weeks, I got to see, first of all, JW is rolling all of their trash cans out and back every day.
Yeah.
Twice a week, he's doing that. And the next thing you know, the holidays were approaching, and I stopped and talked to him about something or other, and he goes, "Oh, we're having Thanksgiving at my house, and we're going to, all of us are all bringing a special dish, and we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving together." And I just chuckled and thought, wow, it was just amazing that he had just really acclimated to the community, not just the community, all these sweet little ladies he had adopted. They were all like his mother, his grandmother. It was really, really sweet.
Well, that speaks to you, JW, but also speaks to the community at the same time.
Absolutely. Every one of these ladies took me in. I moved here for a particular reason. I wanted to be outside, and I didn't want to be constrained to the house. So I refused to get DirecTV. I have air channels. I didn't want to have to think on Saturday or Sunday that I've got to watch a ball game or I've got to watch golf on TV and stuff. I want to be out, still young enough to participate and stuff. So I missed some of the TV. Well, my neighbor found out that I was a football fan, and so I didn't have TV. So Super Bowl Sunday comes up. She plans a big party for me, just to make sure that I be able to come over and watch it. It's just, they had all the snacks, all the drinks, invited the whole neighborhood and stuff. So they made a little party. Same with Thanksgiving. Both of my kids couldn't make it into town. They knew I was going to be by myself. They made sure that I had a fantastic Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. I mean, I don't know if you could have brought a better salesman, Jeannie, than you did at JW today.
He's amazing. You know, not only does he live there and he's a retirement director at the chamber and he participates, he also volunteers and drives our bus. And we do activities. So that's another wonderful amenity. You know, we like to go out of town. So JW will call me because we do something once a month, and he'll call and say, hey, you know, there's a play over in Artesia, and I thought maybe the ladies might want to go. And, of course, there's men, too, but mostly ladies.
Yeah.
They may want to go see this play. It's really cool. And so we'll talk about it, and we'll put it on the calendar. And, you know, and so we go out of town and entertain them. But he does that as well. He makes sure that our activities are always full for out-of-town trips.
Jeannie, we're getting a little bit close to time. We got a couple minutes left. So what I want to do with a couple minutes, I mean, you lead the way, but I was thinking that potentially you kind of wanted to give us the addresses of the locations or give us some more information related to the open house, which is August 20th. But I also want you to go ahead and tell us these houses are very nice. Somebody has a really great eye for decorating because these houses are redone. I assume that's you, Jeannie. And then, so somebody's got a great eye, but more importantly, the cost is impressive. I actually think my wife and I, a couple of years ago, bought a new house in Carlsbad, and Carlsbad housing prices are typically high. I don't feel like your guys' houses are priced as high as I feel like the rest of the community is. They seem like a really great price.
You know, they're a wonderful price, and I know that because I have my hands on the real estate market because I'm in real estate and been a developer forever. But every time I see someone that's been in the community, they've been shopping, and they're just shocked when they look at the prices. I'm just showing them a flyer. We're looking at the house, and they say, oh, my gosh. I mean, they're clean. They're new. They've been remodeled. They've been upgraded. So I want to talk just briefly. We're showcasing 5 houses. I have a few others that are coming open because, you know, unfortunately, we do have a turnover from time to time. So we have patio homes that are all priced under $200,000. And a patio home, they're 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They have a 2-car garage. No common walls touch or separated by the garage, so you don't feel like that you ever hear your neighbor.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of privacy. So that fits a lot of budgets. Anything under 200, you're looking at 175 to 200, and that's a great bargain. They've got a little bonus room, so you could have a little sewing room, den, library, office. Great layout. Beautiful home. In fact, that's the kind of home JW chose for himself.
Downsizing from Albuquerque, 3,000 square feet, swimming pool. As you age, you need to get rid of a few things. Patio home fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Single person.
Obviously a nice patio, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Considering it's called a patio home.
Yep.
I think that, I mean, that's just it's because of your organization, right? It's because of what you guys have built. And the fact that when you think on top of that, so not only is it the most amazing price in town for the house, it's also no property taxes and no insurance. Correct. I mean, it's like, so when you figure out the mortgage calculator, you're like, wait, that is the total. You know, it's not, and there's no additions here.
No. And speaking of financing, we have to finance. We own the property, so we have to finance them. You can't go to VA. You can't go get an FHA loan. You just come to me. You know, I used to be a mortgage officer.
And you guys are just following the market rate for mortgages, I assume, right?
You know, we're a commercial lender, so we have to do it's a little bit higher, but not much. But it's so simplistic. My documents are 3 pages long. You know, the qualification process is very, very, very
Where
simple.
could I go if I'm listening now, but I want to learn more? I assume you have a website, Facebook page. You want to give everybody that?
LakeviewChristian.com. Go under independent housing. There's just a wealth of information. I want to talk briefly because I know I've got some beautiful homes, and I want to talk about one in particular that is brand new. And this home just screams for that person that maybe they're talking about downsizing, but they really don't want to downsize that much, you know? I mean, this is a very luxurious, absolutely gorgeous home. 12-foot tall ceilings, all custom cherry cabinetry in the kitchen, granite. The home is gorgeous. It has a built-in speaker system throughout the house and out onto the back patio. It overlooks the park.
Hardwood floors?
Hardwood floors.
I've seen it.
And oh, it's incredible. So it is screaming for that person that says, I have a wonderful lifestyle now. I live in a beautiful home, maybe on the river, and you don't want to, those are acre lots. We're going to take care of the lawns and all the rest of that stuff. So this is that home for that special person or couple that says, I don't want to downsize that much, honey. I still want to live in an absolutely gorgeous, luxurious home. This is it. And it's the most expensive home that we've had in Riverbend, but you can walk in the door, and I promise you, if you pick this home up and put it in Quail Hollow or anywhere in northern part of Carlsbad, it would be $650,000 easy, and we've got it priced at $429,000. I mean, it's just this gorgeous 2,800 square foot beautiful home.
Well, it's the same thing for all of your houses, and that is an incredible house. I did see the photos on that, but it's for all the other ones, right? So your patio home's priced under $200,000. If you pick that up and you put that anywhere else in northern Carlsbad, it's going to be twice that, 2.5 times that.
It is.
And with all the amenities associated. So anybody that's interested, the only real criteria is you have to be 55 plus.
That's correct.
That's
there's one more, but nobody worries about it, and that is we're going to pull a criminal background check.
Okay.
So you know what that does? That makes sure that everybody that comes in, we have people that come in from Washington State, from New York. We don't know a thing about them, and we pull a nationwide criminal background check on everyone that moves in there, and we do everything to keep our family, our whole community safe. So that's required. It's the only closing cost we have. It's $19.95. You're going to pay that up front. We want to keep everyone safe.
August 20th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Correct.
Riverbend Retirement Community. You can check out all the homes. You'll have 5 that you can walk through in one day, which is the best bang for your buck when you're looking at homes and driving around town anyways. You can go check out the community center. I'm sure Jeannie will let you take a dip in the pool before you sign the contract if you show up on that day, just to get used to it.
So one other question I hear all the time is, do both people have to be 55 years of age?
No, they don't.
That's right.
Okay. All right. That's a great question.
Right. Have a 20-year-old bride. As long as you're 50, 55, you're good.
No judgment.
None whatsoever. None.
Well, that's great. Jeannie Watson, JW Sutphin, thank you guys for coming on again. I can't wait to have you on yet again in the future for any number of topics. You guys are so involved and you do so much for Carlsbad. I appreciate you. And definitely, if you can go check out those homes, you should. August 20th, 1 at 3 p.m., Riverbend Retirement Community. Thank you both.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more.